You see? Okay. See now, I actually hurt now. Not often do I really hurt. Looking down here. So in 10 months, this has been one place which, okay, you can come down here and it's kind of quite natural. There's a heron down there 3 or 4 months ago. You can usually have a few chuffs zooming around and you feel like you're kind of, okay, this is a nice little place left, it's alright. But when I meet people, I give up. I really give up. I give up, Mrs. Sub. There was no point. There was no point speaking with anybody ever. And it's not you, it's you were just one of the many. No, even various people for 10 years, specifically 3 years, through autumn 2020, I revved up. Okay, so if you're living in a place like you haven't got it in Cornwall, but if you lived in a place in Cornwall where you've got a couple of St Justs and a couple of places half the size of St Justs, and then more or less nothing much. When you're having conversations with people, they're more real. They'll remember. They will actually take it in. Unless they're the dilettante middle class who always pretend they're slightly upper. Oh yeah, you've got your fair share of them. They're awful. The third line in the middle of nowhere. I mean, that woman I met, she actually wanted to be chatted up. A few years older than me. I forget her name. She's so forgettable. But the third line is, oh, I'm so busy. We're in the middle of nowhere. Literally, Prestine, for example, is the middle of nowhere. Nobody cares about them, their Instagram fashion companies, anything. Anyway, forget that. So I had years of that. But particularly as of 3 years ago, right, you lot, we've got time now, and we can begin, was it 3 years ago? Yeah, we can begin, no, hang on a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago. No, 3.5 years ago. Autumn 2020. Right, we've got used to this thing now. We know that we're going to get locked down, not that anybody did where I lived. Businesses, etc. are going to be closed for this winter coming. You've got time. Our environment, even there, is all damaged. The River Lug, the River Arrow. 2 rivers that should be in great nick. So, let's have conversations. Helena Attlee, various others. But no, I saw through her years ago. But it's the kind of the other lot who are less isolated. Let's have conversations about, could we arrange something to genuinely try and protect this river? And then, yeah. But then as soon as they realise you mean it, but then they forget. It's astonishing how you can have, like, nothing's going on in their life. You can have a half an hour conversation with a middle-aged woman. Men too. Oh, no. This all started with men. You can have a half an hour conversation, and then the next time you see them, 2 days later, it's like you never had that conversation. And yet their total kind of bohemian, like, oh, I'm one of the chosen few people, line, their whole approach is, oh, it's really important. We're having this conversation now. That's been the reality of 15 years. It got so much worse about the last 7 years. But yes, I am hurt because although I only have a responsibility to write about that until 1.5 years ago, no shabby, yet another fake. Anybody I've had anything to do with down here, it's like it in any way gets to me. But coming down here, it was like, yeah, so if I meet just for conversation, I've met people walking, and I will say to them, without having actually seen evidence, I'm just like, it's shortcut. I will say, oh, even the lovely little stream going down Cot Valley is fucked. Because you have to use shortcut language. What does that mean? That means that 90% of rivers in Cornwall are totally fucked. I didn't realise it was like that though. I actually come down here and I was feeling, oh well, this is actually quite kind of left. It's reasonably pristine-ish, isn't it? 1 kilometre upstream, absolutely full of plastic and wrappers. The point being, I'm energised by the hypocrisy of the last place until a year and a half ago, when I said to myself, yeah, that's it. I've put everything into that last place. They're all the same, these women. I mean, they're kind of a version of Claire Balding or somebody like that, except they do a bit more yoga. And the men are all the same. They energise me because they're so useless. This lot down here, I'm not interested. Even if they're worse, or just as bad, or whatever. But actually, see, there's a great big plastic there. I actually I found this place as my little kind of, it's a bit of a refuge, it's alright. No, it's not. There you go. And these fucking yoga women and these fucking gong sound healers, if you actually say anything to them grown up, look, your river here is damaged, is ruined, essentially. Loads of plastic in a river, gets gradually broken down, becomes little bits of microplastic, damages the system, blah blah blah. If you say anything to them, they're like, you're not manifesting the right kind of positive energy. Really, so this manifested positive energy of yours, it causes you to go to council meetings and demand that there are better protections put in about the rubbish, litter coming down the river. So this positive energy of yours is all causing you to do that. Not just once, many times. No, of course not. They're too busy insta-wanking. What we got here? Is that a seal? Maybe. I actually don't care because there's no hope. I think it is. Yes, it is. Ooh, hello. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, must be. But be clear, I heard. Because I've spent time down here. Oh look, I can see a load more plastic. I've spent time down here like, okay, I can just get a little bit of sanctuary down here. Oh, there's toilet. Or are they men children from Greek disguised as seals as the latest fucking form of fucking masturbation for their fucking fake community?